It's the short walk that football folk can never make too often, nor have many made it more frequently on League Cup final day than those who lead out the teams now. Martin O'Neill and George Graham, veterans both, of an event from which each has derived so much playing and management satisfaction. They and those behind them, together with the fireworks, launched into a blowy, blustery afternoon. And what fireworks are to come from him, I wonder. Davy Ginola has commanded the headlines, and he and those around him marches onto the eternally perfect turf in search of a cup and the continent. It still takes some believing that behind George Graham is a team in white and not red. But Martin O'Neill has done this twice in 3 years now. He and Leicester continue to confound the odds. And their aim is to do that as underdogs again today. It's a venue this, with which for real fans it's impossible to become over-familiar. These Leicester folk have been here half a dozen times in the 1990s. No diminution of passion, no dilution of enjoyment. Spurs fans, by contrast, haven't been on their way to Wembley for a cup final for 8 long, sometimes apparently directionless years. Absence has made that collective heart grow markedly fonder.
There's no way that could be higher here, could it?
Yeah. Start of the climb.
Yeah, that's why I can stand up, you see. That's why I can stand up.
They have to shake hands first. To Lennart.
Lennart, Mr. Off the Planet Son. There you are, this is what I've got then. These two teams rely so heavily on the service of their wide men, Guppy and Ginola. David Ginola, I feel, will be man-marked by Robert Olathorn, not an easy job. But it's a midfield area that I feel is the key area today, because both Guppy and Ginola need the ball to feet. And it's up to Izzet, Lennon and Savage to do that for Leicester, Nielsen, Freund and Anderton to do that for Spurs.
Nicely.
That's all right.
Yeah. He was on, Mike.
No, that's all right, I was on, Mike.
Right. Push it right up.
Great, can you hear me now? Right, Guppy, Izzet, Lennon, Savage, Olathorn. Is that any better? How's that? These two teams rely so heavily on the service of the wide men. Sounds a bit tinny, he says. Hello? Is that all right? What's your final words to me, Pete? Your first
Something
words
like
on?
next season's UEFA Cup. But it'll be obvious. They'll just be natural. Make it conversational. Tony Conning. The thrills of having a march.
I'm up, son, I'm up. Whoa, son.
After all the conjecture about tactical and personnel changes to deal with the specifics of Spurs and Ginola, Martin O'Neill actually goes with 10 of the 11 that started against Charlton last weekend. The change is a natural one. Tony Cotte's 33-year-old legs were being rested precisely so that he would be ready today. So as ever, it's little and large up front. Emile Heskey, one of 5 in this 11 who's been ever present in this cup run, maintains that record courtesy of a pain-killing injection in his back. This is essentially Tottenham's Worthington Cup first 11. That takes into account the ineligibility of Tim Sherwood and Maurizio Taricco, both of whom have actually scored for other clubs in this competition this season. Alan Nielsen retakes Sherwood's spot in midfield. Justin Edinburgh, suspended on Saturday, rested on Tuesday, returns at left full-back. It's Stefan Everson and Les Ferdinand together in attack. So Everson, whose luscious lob at Selhurst Park earned Tottenham this final, gets the nod ahead of Chris Armstrong. That's the news. The column inches, though, have mostly and understandably been concerned with David. That's the news. The column inches, though, have mostly and understandably been concerned with David Ginola. If he thrills the public at large, then Tony Cotte here engenders the public's affection and sympathy. 16 years in the game, 264 goals, no medals yet. Fittingly, for the final of its own competition, the Football League has appointed one of its own referees. Terry Heilbron is not on the Premiership list. He has the experience, though, of having officiated at 2 playoff finals here. The start of the climax of the 39th Football League Cup competition, and in and itself the collection of a trophy would be cause enough for joy at either club, but also a means to an end. The winners will be the first English club sure to qualify for next season's UEFA Cup.
Well, who knows who the winner's going to be today, it's so tight, but these two teams rely so heavily on the service of their wide men, Guppy and Ginola, and I feel, I've just seen Robert Olafons went up and stood beside David Ginola. I think it's going to be man-marked. But it's a midfield area which is a key area. It's a service that the wide men get from the midfield players, and that's where the battle's going to be today, I feel.
Freund for Tottenham Hotspur. Nielsen. Edinburgh from left full-back. Ginola, the man to raise the tempo and raise the volume and whip in the cross to the near post, where Taggart got ahead of Ferdinand.
Straight away, Robert Olafon tested one on David Ginola on the ball. He's going to have that problem all afternoon. He must concentrate. Not an easy job.
Freund, Anderson, Carr. Guppy's come to meet it. Carr has whipped it in. The wind will be a factor. It's blustery and blowy, unpredictable. And Robert Olathorn, it is increasingly evident, is the man who will be almost inside David Ginola's shirt. Pontus Kamark, by the way, who got the job of marking Juninho at the League Cup final 2 years ago, is on the bench, so he didn't have to have the Ginola nightmares. Lennon. Freund won it. Anderton attempted to hold it up. Cotte won it. What an appetite he'll have for the game. Guppy. Walsh the skipper. Indication there of just how slippery it might be out there, and Heskey has got away. Vega is labouring to get back. Heskey's got into the penalty area, and Vega, the Swiss international, has conceded the game's first corner.
I tell you what, Peter got it all wrong there. Ramon Vega's actually gambled. He's gambled that Emile Heskey's going to be offside, and Sol Campbell, who's playing him on. And it's Emile Heskey's not on his stronger side, his left foot, and he's too hesitant to take advantage of that.
There's concern about Heskey's fitness. He's had to receive special treatment to be fit for this game. He hasn't started and finished the game for quite a while, but he is the potent weapon in the Leicester Arsenal. It's Muzzy, is it, with the corner. Came back to Taggart, whose initial header had posed the original question. Lennon wide again for Isak, who took the initial corner. Guppy with a chance to lay it in. Header up in the air by Carr. Taggart again. And Carr further clear this time, but only as far as Lennon. Aim towards Heskin. And out to Sol Campbell. Gilles now taking on Oliphant for the first time and getting there ahead of him and causing Keller, with good judgment and terrific alertness, to slide out of his penalty area and clear.
Sorry, Pete, that was great goalkeeping, because David Ginola, we give him a yard. What kind of pace has he got? He shows you there. He's got the acceleration and the strength. Casey Keller read the situation brilliant.
Can he be man-marked? Nielsen's throw, out by Elliott. Cotty holding it up. Campbell dwarfing him at his back, but Cotty's done a good job and introduced Guppy. Lively open start from Leicester City. Carr has come to meet Guppy. Savage, Lennon. Isak made the run, flag up near side.
What a tempo to the game, isn't it? God, like a house on fire. There's no way they can keep this kind of tempo up. He's not offside as the ball's played, you know. He's definitely onside. But Steve Guppy's found himself in a little bit of space down this left-hand side. Muzzy Isak's making the run inside between the two defenders. Leicester have started very, very brightly, but that man Ginola, he's a threat already. We're only 3 or 4 minutes into the game.
Ferdinand, lovely flick. Away from Everson by Walsh. Steve Walsh, who collected the cup a couple of years ago, and George Graham, who somehow looks right at Wembley. It's been a while. Lennon. Ferdinand tackling back and penalised for so doing. If he did mistime the tackle, it is still indicative of the work rate that this guy's putting in week after week for George Graham now. It's a free kick though, which Lennon has taken short for Guppy, who got no leverage on his cross. Savage. Lennon. Isak couldn't take it. Everson did. Nielsen has it now, and Ginola again is wide. And has gone down, Ginola. There were 3 of them around him. Elliott and Isak and Oliphant. He's almost been triple man-marked. Player's gone on, and only now has Ginola stumbled back to his feet.
It's a fair tackle. It's a committed one. In fact, it's not a fair tackle. I thought he got the ball, he didn't. He got a full David Ginola ankle.
Martin O'Neill calls Muzzy as in together with Neil Lennon, his Cray twins. And there was a bit of daylight robbery. Walsh ahead of Everson. Edinburgh battling through. Savage blocking his route to the edge of the penalty area. Martin O'Neill experiencing his 5th League Cup final as player and manager. Vega. Carr. Lovely touch from Carr, took him away from 2. And Freund has kept it in and delivered the cross. Important header away by Taggart. Came to Ginola. This is Darren Anderson for Spurs. Savage's very presence was just enough, but Anderson will rightly applaud the first genuinely sublime touch of the afternoon from a Frenchman who's full of them.
Well, it was great industry by Darren Anderson when the ball eventually comes across, because he started on the right, drifted across. David Ginola sees where he's going, picks out a lovely back heel, and as the ball goes through, down and just looking for a little touch. He's actually looking to be brought down there, but there wasn't enough contact for a valid penalty. Robbie Savage goes and pulls out, as you see.
Heskey. Leicester's throw. The sheer brute force of the man, as well as his ability to swivel so tightly and strike at goal, make him just so potent. Olathorn away from Schindler in a role reversal. Then Campbell came over to close him down. Elliott was cup-tied when Leicester reached the League Cup final 2 years ago, after his arrival from Oxford. This will mean a lot. Walsh, Heskey, Vega again at his back, and Anderson alongside, and tackling well and with fine strength. And finding Ferdinand. Anderson, a major player early on. Ginola likewise, again teasing Olathorn. Savage and Olathorn doubling up again, necessarily so. Edinburgh. Nielsen, out by Elliott.
It's important when David Ginola gets turned and faces Robert Olathorn up that he's not isolated Robert Olathorn. He needs backup, whether it's from his midfield or a centre-half behind him, and he needs talking to and help. And so far, Robbie Savage is doing that.
Edinburgh, Ginola. Is it with the tackle?
And this time it was Muzzy, is it?
Scored the winning goal for Leicester against Spurs at Filbert Street in the Premiership back in October. Muzzy, is it? Ferdinand. Didn't reach Everson. Heskey. Ginola. Stefan Freund. Carr. Anderson. Again Stephen Carr. Ferdinand. Happy for Cotti, who dwelt on it. Wilson snapping in. So much neutral sympathy for Tony Cotti after the career he's had, but so far nothing tangible to show for it.
The centre forwards challenge that one. Maybe it has to be nowhere near the ball.
Anderson. Ferdinand through the channel, tag it across. First time Leicester and Spurs have ever met in the League Cup in its various guises. Leicester's recent record against Spurs in the Premiership is pretty well unblemished, unbeaten in the last 5. Ginola. Now that's getting too close. Ginola awarded a free kick for Olathorn's pretty intimate attention.
There's an art to defend, and one of the things to the art is that you mustn't dive in. But you want to get tight with David Ginola, you don't want to allow him to turn. Sometimes he just sucks you in. You can't help committing yourself.
Vega, preferred at centre-back to Luke Young, with whom he's been involved in something of a job share over the last month or two. Experience preferred to youth by George Graham on the big occasion. And here's a player, Ramon Vega, who's turned this public perception round. Not the most popular at White Hart Lane early on in the season, but now much more firmly relied upon by those who watch their football down the Seven Sisters Road.
He could be on the winning team at Wembley. That's a nice little feather in his cap, whether he's liked it or not. He's going to have to earn it.
Walsh, Cotte, Lennon. Heskey bursting into the box, but Carr was there to shepherd it back.
It'll be very interesting to see how Emil Heskey goes this afternoon. We know he hasn't trained much. He hasn't had a chance to work on his fitness. He's carrying a back injury. Let's see how he lasts the pace.
Guppy looking for Heskey to get free down the channel. Vega making his presence known, and Heskey in his frustration getting a handful of shirt.
It's difficult when you've been out with any kind of injury, but especially a back problem. It just allows you to do nothing during the week in training. It's basically rest, and obviously you lose your sharpness and your fitness, mentally as well as physically. Coming to Wembley on an afternoon like this in the cup final and trying to raise a game for 90 minutes, it's a tall order for Emil Heskey.
Flick on by Everson, up by Elliott. Further on by Muzzy, is it? Edinburgh misjudging the bounce. Little Tony Cotte onto it. And give a little nudge in the back too, such that it's a Leicester free kick. Jackets come off. He's the most excitable on the touchline.
The jackets come off, people. I think the pace has slightly dropped off, much to the relief of the players probably, because it started such a hectic pace. There was no way they could continue that.
Elliott for Heskey. Cotte attempting to turn. Campbell at his back and Walker came to gather. Ginola again up against Savage and Olathorn and going down. This will be a recurring theme. They are doubling up on him whenever he's anywhere near the ball. Olathorn has won that little battle. As for the war, that is ongoing.
Don't be fooled. We saw him on Tuesday night have a very, very quiet 45, then we ended up being the match winner in the FA Cup against Barnsley.
Anderson. Carr. Vega. Tagged away from Everson, it came to Carr, who has one senior goal to his name.
Why is that?
It was actually the first of this League Cup campaign for Spurs against Brentford in the second round. Ginola, who has rather more. And nearly crept between the pair, but Savage can get it cleared off the back of Olathorn's tackle. Elliott.
If Matt Elliott can get his head up.
What's Vega's back pass? A little awkward for Walker.
If Matt Elliott can get his head up, Steve Guppy is standing oceans of space on the left-hand side. He's got the ability to do that. Darren Anderson's been pulled inside in the midfield, and Steve Guppy's in oceans of space. They haven't picked him off yet.
So much of the focus clearly is up Spurs left and Leicester's defensive right. Nielsen straight at Lennon. Heskey. Lennon again. Cotte the proposed chaser. Now good to see Ian Walker back in the England thinking under Kevin Keegan as standby for the forthcoming Poland squad. He's been a long way to hell and back as Ian Walker. Steve Walsh, the Leicester captain, with the nod back for his keeper then.
There's that ball. Opens the game completely open now, wide open.
Goppy, Cotting. Is it, wants it. Lennon's behind the pair of them. Heskey's through the middle. Ullathorne's bursting up the right-hand side. This is Heskey. This is Robert Ullathorne, freed of his marking responsibilities momentarily, and he may be made to pay for that freedom by Ginola. Taggart's there ahead of Ferdinand. Ferdinand's won it back well, and Ginola can deliver the cross beyond Everson. First time he's been given genuine liberty down the left by Robert Ullathorne, and aided by Les Ferdinand, he came close to carving out something of note. Is it? Ullathorne for Elliott. Twinkle's back in the old eye, and there could be a trophy back in the Spurs cabinet under George Graham, who won so many for Arsenal. Ginola finding the space, Carr occupying that space. Now the fullback is out of position and Cossey has the ball. And Savage has plenty of acreage in front of him, and Heskey in front of him, and Heskey is onside. It's Emile Heskey. It is a splendidly timed tackle by Ramon Vega when the Leicester striker just couldn't dig the ball out from beneath his feet. Now Ullathorne. Savage. Nielsen was strong enough. Goal kick. What a good sliding tackle by the Swiss centre-back, but Heskey will feel he should have got a shot away.
It was a great recovering tackle. Sol Campbell just misjudged it. I didn't think there was enough pass on the ball. Is this a sign that Emile Heskey's not quite fit? Because he didn't leave Ramon Vega. Credit to Ramon Vega. He saw the situation, got round, and he had to make that tackle right. It's in the box. Perfect block. Great defending.
Lennon. Walsh. Goppy. Again Neil Lennon. Such a busy engine. Campbell at the back of Heskey. As if to say, I may have slipped once, but you'll see plenty of me from now on in. Walsh. Not like Campbell. Another little back heel from Ginola. Helped on its way by Nielsen. Ferdinand couldn't get there before Lennon. It's the man who epitomises the Leicester spirit, and to whom Martin O'Neill is so keen to keep hold. Everson, nice touch. Good pass as well. Ginola with Edinburgh overlapping from full-back. Freund. Stefan Freund!
All that started from a great run by Justin Edinburgh, who went round David Ginola, allowed him to go Robbie Savage one-on-one. He slipped the pass to Stefan Freund in the space, tried the shot, ambitious. Alan Nielsen's got a long throw.
Nielsen the Dane towards Vega at the near post. Sandwich between Walsh and Heskey. And Walsh has conceded the corner. Just more than a quarter of the game gone. Anderson over the set piece. Out by Jerry Taggart. Back in by Everson. Taggart was climbing. Vega looked vainly at the referee. And Leicester booted it to safety. Everson. Taggart's the kind of centre-back you wouldn't want to meet on a dark night.
Certainly wouldn't.
You know you're tackled when you're tackled by him. Away from Heskey by Campbell, and there was a clash of heads there. But it's come to Ferdinand. Nielsen. Ginola. Edinburgh again has gone wide. Good adventure this from Tottenham Hotspur. Edinburgh with a chance to cross. Behind Ferdinand. And out again by Taggart. Freund. Ginola. Can't get between Lennon and Olathorn. Two little feisty midfield players getting underneath his feet. Like the kids during the school holidays. He can't get away from them. Nielsen again to wind up for the long throw. Everson at the near post. Taggart will not let them pass. He played in the Bolton side and beat Spurs 6-1 in this competition a year or two back. He scored a goal. Anderson to swing it in this time right-footed, and Keller came and caught with really excellent assurance given the attention surrounding him, and Les Ferdinand has gone down, as you see there, awkwardly.
This is a great take. He's under tremendous pressure by Les Ferdinand. It was magnificent in the air, and all I can think is Les gone down and twisted his ankle or landed awkwardly on his back by the looks of that.
And he has had back problems, Barry, and if he's jarred it here.
Yeah, he's landed full smack on the base of his spine there. He hasn't scored many goals this season, Big Les. I think he's only got 4. He's in the team this afternoon because he's totally and utterly committed. His work rate, his team effort has got him a place this afternoon at Wembley. He just needs a little bit of luck around the goal, a little one to come off a big toe, something like that, just to set him off on a little run. Been a bit of a drought for Les Ferdinand.
And he's admitted as much, and he's also been one of several in the Spurs team who've been outspoken in their praise of George Graham since he's arrived in White Hart Lane. It's been a very visible difference in that man. Just needs the goals to go with all else that's good in this game right now. Heskey's won it above Vega this time. Savage. Beyond Heskey. Carr just about jabbed it away from Guppy. Everson came to get it. Freund. Carr. Ferdinand with Elliott right behind him. Running freely enough now, Les Ferdinand. And getting away from Elliott and delivering the cross. Little push from Olathorn on Nielsen. George Graham wants a penalty. Nielsen, in all truth, didn't make so much fuss about it. And Terry Hillbrand merely pointed at the corner flag.
Well, Al Nielsen always the one to make the break from midfield into the box, and he's free at the far post. A little bit of contact, but it's unintentional. He's cut across his legs, but he didn't mean to do that. It definitely wasn't a penalty. But Al Nielsen's a constant threat from midfield, and that's why he's got so many goals this season.
Anderson again. Campbell's going in back post, but all to no avail. Nielsen has scored 8 this season, including 2 in this competition, a memorable one at Liverpool in round 4. And he was hell-bent on getting on the end of that Les Ferdinand cross. Robert Olathorpe made contact and denied him that chance. For Anderson, and now Edinburgh. Ginola. Olathorpe right in his pocket again. Ginola still dug out a cross. It's dangerous to claim too much of a moral victory over him from the defender's point of view, though.
It's a long old afternoon when you're man marking David Ginola, I tell you. You cannot afford to switch off for 1 second.
21 years since Martin O'Neill was first involved in a League Cup final. Cloughie's Nottingham Forest. Remember the Chris Woods final against Liverpool, 78. Guppy's ball through the channel. Edinburgh for Anderson. And Edinburgh again. Olathorpe's tackle. Ginola trying to leap over and beyond his lunging right boot. It's another Tottenham free kick. The main man himself is there, and his mentor and right-hand man, Arthur Cox, with Kevin Keegan, 4-0 winner with Fulham yesterday, and all but promoted. His next engagement in this ground will be of considerable import to all of us.
Unless you're Scottish.
Fair shout. Or indeed Swiss.
Yes.
Olathorpe with the throw. Savage. Olathorpe again. Carr tried to duck beneath it. Ended up in a bit of a tangle. Walsh with the throw.
They've had a very quiet 10 minutes, Leicester. The sting's just gone out of the game. They're not getting as much possession. Steve Guppy hasn't been on the ball for a while. Tottenham dominating the last 5 to 10 minutes and look the more dangerous of the two sides.
Guppy's another one who was cup-tied in the 1997 League Cup run and so missed out on this special Wembley experience. Ferdinand. Carr.
Darren Anderson's finding a little bit more space. He's drifting, he's moving around, he's just more central area rather than on the right. He's having a bit of an influence there, supplying.
Campbell. Ginola. Olathorpe stole it from him and cleanly. Heskey in unfamiliar territory in the right back role.
If you're George Graham, you're absolutely delighted to see Emile Heskey there, back fighting for the ball, because he's absolutely no threat whatsoever to Ramon Vega or Sol Campbell when he's playing right side midfield.
Is it?
And that's what's letting Leicester down. They're working very hard as a unit, but they're working very hard as a unit at the minute, merely just to contain Tottenham.
Vega's long ball. Taggart's flick header. One hesitates to make excuses, Barry, but I wonder what sort of a factor the wind is. So many set pieces and long balls are being blown off course and straight into touch. We've even seen a long throw or two go straight into touch.
Definitely, I think that's why it's vital to play to feet. People like Steve Guppy and David Ginola love the ball to feet. That long pass is going to be more difficult than ever with the swirling wind.
First year the League Cup has been under that sponsorship banner. Anderton, Everson, Stefan Freund.
That's poor. Tottenham have got 5 men in the box, 2 midfield men, Darren Anderton and Alan Nielsen. Stefan Freund's better than that. He's just got to hit an area. But it shows the ambition of Tottenham. They're not prepared to sit back. They want bodies in the box. They're just looking for that delivery.
That, though, is the reason why it just might be a little trickier. Edinburgh. Ginola. All very condensed in the middle third right now, but Spurs adventurously are often getting Justin Edinburgh forward, outside of Ginola down the left.
That's the run that's making the difference, Pete. That's the run that's opening up the whole left-hand side. When he gets on his bike and he opens his legs up and get now, the opportunity's on now if he can do that, if the ball comes.
Cotti cut it out. Savage has it. Cotti. And again Cotti, and again Savage. Foul by Nielsen. Lennon with the free kick. Aimed at Walsh, out by Campbell. Anderson sliding challenge. Savage wide for Guppy. Elliott is closest to him. Guppy's got himself originally, and now it's Matt Elliott. Walsh is closing in back post. Walker has come to claim it and has done so well. He's a goalkeeper whose confidence is back big time. Everson. Remember that smashing semi-final goal at Selhurst Park. Ginola.
Again, good work from a midfield player. This time it was Neil Lennon going to help out Robert Olathorn. Doubling up again on David Ginola.
Edinburgh. Savage. Rain starting to pelt down now, as well as the blustery wind. It's a dim, dank afternoon at Wembley. Guppy's played it through. Walker has come. Up in the air by Walsh. Ferdinand competes again and wins the second ball. Everson, Freund. A tackle by Taggart, and he's kept it in as well. And Heskey is set off. And Vega is racing towards his own goal, and Heskey can breathe down his neck. Vega's having a good game hitherto.
Emil Heskey, is he on full power there? If he is on full power and he's got everything in him, and I think he leaves Ramon Vega.
Guppy. Guppy's cross, too much on it for Heskey. Olathorn. Cotti. Olathorn. Heskey pulling away. Just arrived at him a little sooner than perhaps he had expected, but he'd shrugged off Vega. Walsh. Edinburgh. Anderson. Edinburgh for Ginola. Olathorn didn't get to him so swiftly this time, but his ball to the near post was a disappointment, and that is what they're dealing with now. Even the great Frenchman's hair could be out of place by the end of this.
I think you'll be right. And actually, there's been loads of tackles flying in, especially Leicester being very committed, as have Tottenham, but this makes the surface even more greasy and more slippy. I just hope the referee understands that some tackles might be slightly mistimed and gives them the benefit of the doubt.
This is turning into a foul afternoon. It's got to be one for commitment and desire, and there is bags and bags of that on both sides. Better personified by no one than Jerry Taggart.
It's interesting there, Peter, when you look at that. Leicester do not pick up men, they pick zones, they pick areas, and all they do is attack the ball when it comes into the area. Some people are for it, some people are against it. Let's see how they cope with this.
It's Anderton to deliver the free kick, and it's Keller to get behind the header from Stefan Everson. He carved himself out half a yard of space, and he got good downward power on the header.
That's the worry when you pick areas rather than picking a man. Now, who's responsible for that man? Nobody, because I've marked the area. Weren't close enough to get a header in or even stop the run. I think it's a dangerous ploy.
Stefan Everson with the first direct threat on Casey Keller's goal. Elliott and Ferdinand, I'd love to see that arm wrestle.
There's some power between those two men, isn't there? Well, I wasn't in the middle of that one. No, I can't see a foul there from Les Ferdinand.
Terry Heilbron did.
He did, and he's from County Durham, my neck of the woods. Obviously, wear different kind of glasses to him.
Cotty. Oh dear.
What Tony Cotty said, it was awful tight, he's trying to switch the player, but with this greasy surface, if the pass is not spot on, then it zips away.
Carr. Campbell. Ginola. Oh, Edinburgh did well for him there, and has done again. Edinburgh with a chance to deliver the cross, and maybe again. Olathorn and Elliott, and a little rub of the green. Did the job for Leicester.
We said before the game, David Ginola is one of the key men. I think it's turning out that's actually the left back who's going to be the key man. It's going to be Justin Edinburgh, because he's allowing and creating the space for David Ginola. He's getting the space himself. Leicester are preoccupied with David Ginola, and they're leaving Justin Edinburgh. Let's see if he can exploit it.
Campbell's ball flicked in by Ferdinand. Out to Savage, and out from Savage into a channel which might have been explored by Cotty, but for Vega's excellent position. Carr. Anderson always wants it. He's quite an influence in the game so far. Campbell. Ginola. Again Edinburgh overlapping, and Olathorn's having to go with it. But stood his ground to deal with Ginola when the Frenchman arrived. Nilsson's throw, flick on by Campbell. Everson was hurling himself at it. Campbell had made good his ground and his contact, but there was no one there before the keeper. Lennon. Good strong tackle by Carr. It's been a half of good strong tackles. Anderton. Ginola. Nielsen. Freund. Nielsen's kept going. There was a confusion involving Elliott and Olathorn on the edge of the Leicester penalty area. But Keller came to clean up the mess.
I think the more open this game becomes, the more it suits Tottenham. I think we've got the more pace, better legs from midfield, people like Darren Anderton. We've got the pace up front. The longer the game goes on, I think the less likely Leicester are to win it.
Cotting. Savage. Lennon ran over it. Elliott can give it a belt. He's given it to Vega. And then won it back. Gopi. And Elliott's been summoned by the referee on account of his meeting with Ramon Vega.
I think the referee thinks that Matt Elliott went over the top. I'm not so sure he went over the top, but he's certainly late. And he's going to give him a yellow card.
Scotsman first to be officially cautioned for pretty harsh contact on Ramon Vega's shin. Scotsman, that is, in inverted commas. Scottish international.
Adopted Scotsman.
Carr. Freund. Carr. One extra minute at the end of the first half. Elliott. Out by Campbell. Anderton. Ginola. Ferdinand. Everson. Nielsen's making the run. Elliott was aware of it.
The pass, the selection just wasn't right. Nielsen was in.
Weak sunshine coming out at Wembley in first half stoppage time. Gopi. Savage. Olathorn. Elliott. Oh, Vega's header. It worked out. Mid-back header.
They just look comfortable at the minute, Spurs. Leicester don't look a threat.
First half of strong tackling, driving rain, and an interested left-sided dimension in the Spurs side, whereby Justin Edinburgh has become an attacking threat alongside the doubly marked David Ginola. But a first half of few opportunities, which ends at Wembley with the following scoreline: Leicester 0, Spurs 0. We have the second half for you after this break. Well, the paucity of goal-scoring opportunities ought not to detract from the tension of the occasion at the start of the second half here. Remember, there must, after all of this, be a winner here today. For the first time, there is provision for extra time and penalties, but Spurs, in their desire to avoid that attack early in the second half with Everson. Taggart pinning him in. And it's a Leicester free kick. So how might we avoid the extra time penalty scenario, Barry?
Well, I think if Leicester to win this game, they didn't look like it for the last half an hour of the first half. they've got to make a decision, a conscious decision. Martin O'Neill, I'm sure at half-time will have said, get the ball out to Steve Guppy as often as possible. He's got the space, allow him to use that space by giving them the ball so he can supply the crosses and the ammunition for Emile Heskey and Tony Cottee, who were basically starved of any kind of decent service the first half. Without that, they look a workman-like side who are working overtime to contain Tottenham.
Taggart and Ferdinand, not for the first time on the day, clashing determinedly. And again, I suspect Ferdinand fell awkwardly as much as anything. Chris Armstrong, who will have suffered the disappointment of being left out of the original 11 after having partnered Les Ferdinand at Barnsley on Tuesday, is now making himself ready potentially to replace that prostrate centre forward. It's George Graham whose decision that was, and whose decision it will be to establish Les Ferdinand's fitness or otherwise to continue. Walsh with the throw. Vega to heave it clear. Everson, Nielsen. Shinned it a bit, but it came to Edinburgh. And Schiller, of course, is wide, and Olathorn, of course, has come to meet him. And Savage is there as well. And this time Schindler's got between the pair of them, and Lennon's come over to make the third marker, but he still found Everson, and Everson couldn't bring it under control.
Well, he sucked 3 men over there, didn't he? He's facing 2 men. He managed to put a ball between them, use his strength and get between them. Such power.
Guppy, is it? Heskey and Lennon. And Savage. Cottee was still behind Robbie Savage. Anderton. Taggart ahead of Ferdinand. Ginola. Nielsen's tackle broke only for Cottee. Is it? Guppy all alone. Carr came to meet him. Heskey. Tight turn. Strong retention of the ball. Savage. Olathorn. Savage has gone wide. And he's held off Anderton, and he has a clear route to the edge of the penalty area. And he wins only a corner.
Well, he wasn't favoured to win that tackle against Darren Anderton, but he just delayed the cross. He had options in the box. Darren Anderton actually recovered very well. Makes his mind up to get back, but Robbie Savage should have had that ball delivered and created a problem in the Tottenham box.
Anderton hasn't come off second best in many 50-50s up to now. Guppy with the left-footed corner. Elliott going in there. Everson was the defender, off whom Elliott's header deflected last.
Got a slight connection, didn't he? It's a great defensive header by Everson. The forward back doing the defender's job, and he did it very, very well.
So Guppy has a chance to launch it again, deeper this time. Walsh's back post, dangerous header, and a brave clearance by Justin Edinburgh, who fair launched himself at the clearing header.
Well, it's a ploy that's used by Leicester. Watch Steve Walsh, he just makes a dart into the far post. All he's looking for is a Leicester shirt. Can he find one? And Justin Edinburgh is the first to react. Magnificent reactions. He got a whack on the chest for his deed.
From Emile Heskey. Anderton got the better of Savage this time, but to no great effect. It's 51 years and 65 meetings since Leicester and Spurs served up a goalless draw. There are many of neutrals and indeed committed fans who are keen that that record should be elongated further. Elliott's free kick. Nielsen met it. Anderson, Ferdinand. Ginola. Away from Savage initially. And Savage, you can see, is livid. That Ginola went to earth so hurriedly.
Well, it's a tough tackle. It's a full-blooded one, and he didn't get any of the ball.
Elliott dealt with the resulting set piece. Heskey, flag up. He had just got ahead of Campbell as the ball was delivered. Ginola. Olathorn was alert to his latest trick. Edward. Anderson. Ginola, nice touch. Edinburgh with a chance to cross. Nielsen can make it a Spurs ball. Nielsen's cross. Just couldn't wrap his right foot round it.
Good interplay here, but Ginola and the left back Justin Edinburgh, who's making that ground up again. Alan Nielsen, as ever, making ground up, getting in the box. Great bit of skill. Not the cross he was looking for. But again, Tottenham men in the box, just looking for that right kind of service.
Nearly 78,000 inside Wembley for the 1999 League Cup final. It is the penultimate such occasion at this ground before Wembley's knocked down and they start all over again. Carr's throw. Everson, Nielsen, Anderson. Now Ginola. A little bit of space before Olathorn did come to meet him this time, and he's got up ahead of steam, and he's got away from Savage, and he's whipped in the cross. And Elliott was at full stretch to deal with it near post.
David Ginola, every time he's getting the ball, is attracting three players. He's attracting Robert Olathorn, Robbie Savage, and also Neil Lennon, and that's bound to leave spaces somewhere around the pitch.
Nielsen again to bend the back. Elliott away from Vega. Could come to Stefan Freund. Still to break his duck as a Tottenham Hotspur player since his arrival from Dortmund.
Well, it came to him, but it didn't come to him quick enough. It allowed Emil Heskey to make up the ground. It was just lingering in the air, and Emil Heskey did enough to put him off.
There's bittersweet memories of this ground. He was in the Germany side that overcame England in Euro 96. But got injured right at the end and missed the final of the European Championships. Also, of course, missed the penalty shootout. So perhaps it wasn't such a bad thing. Fell on Heskey by Vega. Jerry Taggart of Northern Ireland with the free kick. Aim towards Elliott. Ferdinand's the defender. Further evidence of his industry. Taggart. Still Jerry Taggart. Straight at Carr. Anderson. Olathorn ahead of Ginola. And he's going to keep it in. Has Savage one way, Lennon behind him, is it in front of him, Cotti darting into the box, and Gopi all alone on the far side, but Nielsen tackle. Lennon has it back, Savage, Olathorn, Robert Olathorn, and Walker smothered, and Cotti's in there! And Walker was just strong enough second time.
Tony Cotti's a little unhappy with himself. One of the supreme poachers this game seen. All about a penalty box for Tony Cotti. Great shot, Ian Walker spills it, and I probably think Tony Cotti feels it could have been a yard sharper, but Ian Walker recovered very, very well.
It is one of those days where the ball is going to pick up pace off the turf and slither nastily for keepers. And Walker got off the hook. Tony Cotti, who for years and years for West Ham and Everton and now Leicester has been such a fine poacher, and Ian Walker, more than 2 years since he last played at Wembley and had his heart broken by Zola at Italy, is back playing well and back in the England reckoning. Cotti. Freund clear, Ferdinand strong, Walsh gave him a shove. Sun's out, we've had all 4 seasons in a day here.
The sun's out, Peter, and I tell you what, you get the impression that the half-time breaks work for Leicester. Martin O'Neill's obviously got in amongst his team. They've picked the tempo up, they've picked the pace up. They seem to have a little bit more belief that they can actually go on and win this game. They didn't show that in the second half of the first half.
Carr, wriggled away from one. Lennon's going to be harder to beat, but Carr has whipped it in. Everson ahead of Keller, and a goal kick is given.
Stefan Everson does so well here because he knows it's going to go in a magnificent ball, and he knows it's going to come short. Gets across in front of the keeper, and all he's looking for there is just a little touch and to be brought down. He gets the touch, but he's not brought down. Again, it's not a penalty.
Casey Keller, who's missed only 1 game this season, and so because of his back problem missed the second half of a couple of Premiership games as well. Carr's back pass. Walker was there okay. Gopi away from Nielsen, and it's Gopi's ball in, awkward one for Campbell, who might or might not have got a shout from Walker behind him. There did appear to be some sort of a communication breakdown though, and they're staring daggers drawn at the moment, skipper and keeper.
It was awkward. Sol Campbell, if he's not sure, did exactly the right thing. Just clear your lines, have a discussion after.
Is it over the corner? Elliott is near post. Taggart's near post as well. There's Issett's delivery. Walker has come, and Lennon's onto it. Walsh. Gopi. Taggart. Gopi again. Elliott. They're all still forward from the corner, and Taggart of all people is overlapping down the left-hand side, and would be forgiven for appearing a little like a fish out of water. Carr's nearly got himself into trouble, but skipped away from Cotti. Edinburgh showed a bit of it to Lennon, and a bit is all he needed. Is it? What a deflection. Cotti could get onto it. Campbell hooks it away. Arguably Leicester's best spell this. Everson can release the pressure though.
On the rack a little bit, Tottenham just can't get possession of the ball at the minute. Leicester have found another gear, I'm delighted to say.
Elliott. Gopi, hugging his touchline. Heskey turning well. Nielsen by hook or by crook took the ball from him. Lennon has it back. Gopi again. frequently the outlet now for Leicester. And still Steve Guppy. Guppy shot. There is an increased sense of adventure about Leicester since the break. The pulse is starting to race a bit. Guppy and Savage on either flank are increasingly involved.
There is, and this is the first time Steve Guppy's ventured inside. He didn't have too much of the ball the first half, he's getting a little bit more the second half. The question asked there, has he got a right foot? The answer, yeah, he has, but it's not quite good enough on that occasion. But he'll be becoming more and more confident the more he gets on the ball and the more he's involved in the game. Tottenham were just losing out in midfield for the first time, I feel, during the game.
Kellett's clearance, Everson got in the header. Extraordinary pressure, quite a contortionist effort. Campbell's gone down, Heskey was culpable that time. Carr. Walsh tackle, isn't tackle, Cotty tackle. Leicester flying in now. Still broke for Ferdinand, but Lennon tackle. Edinburgh trying to get away from Savage. Oh, and there were arms raised there by Justin Edinburgh, who originally was the subject of Savage's tackle, but who now may become the subject of the referee's considerable irritation. Neither of those two was entirely blameless. Savage sees yellow and Edinburgh sees the red.
Oh, Peter, there's been 4 or 5 tackles previous to that that were very fair. Robbie Savage fouled Justin Edinburgh, and there's some kind of reaction, but to see probably the key man on the field go off.
And that is why.
That is exactly why you cannot raise your hands, and the referee's got every right to send him off. I'm very sad to say it, but Justin Edinburgh is a fool to raise his hands.
Well, Andrei Kanchelskis was sent off for Manchester United in 1994, and Justin Edinburgh becomes the second player in the history of Wembley League Cup finals to make that lonely walk back to the dressing room alone.
I do have sympathy for him because he was hard done by, he was fouled, but it doesn't give him the right to raise his hands.
Anderton with the free kick. And that's worth noting because remember it was a Spurs free kick. Edinburgh had been fouled. And George Graham has some thinking to do now. There has to be a result today. He can't just hang on unless he's prepared to play for penalties. A major reshuffle could shortly be on the cards. The smile is a pale one. Alan Nielsen continues to talk up for his now departed colleague, and Robbie Savage is at the centre of this whole angry piece, as indeed is Terry Hillbrook.
Let me just tell you what George Graham's done, Pete. He's just gone 3 at the back. That's all he's done. Stephen Carr as one of the centre halves. This will allow, I feel, Steve Guppy an awful lot more room on the left-hand side.
Campbell away. Nielsen. Freight. Walsh. It's raised the temperature enormously. Leicester were anyway enjoying their best spell of the game. Martin O'Neill would no doubt have been starting to believe in his team. Matt Elliott. Savage is steaming through the middle and wants it played over the top. Olathorn is wide. Heskey is waiting to pounce on the prey and going to the near post. It's over the top of Heskey. Out by Vega, further clear by Nielsen. Leonard. Olathorn's got clear. Robert Olathorn. Out again by Vega. Ginola. Ferdinand. Freund. Referee held it up for Ferdinand, who won't thank him for the touch. Ginola to run again at Olathorn. Spurs need his magic more than ever now. Elliott calmly at the near post again. Heskey and Campbell in another wrestling contest. Walsh. Copy. Heskey through the channel. Campbell at his back. Cottee darting into the penalty area. Campbell did well. He is such an accomplished defender these days.
He is an accomplished defender. He's going to have to be, I tell you, because there's so much space now between the Tottenham back three on the outside of them. They're going to have to be really alert, and they're going to have to cover an awful lot of ground between the defenders, between themselves. Heskey getting into the game now, enjoying the extra space.
Gopi. Made himself a yard, delivered the cross. Bounced a little awkwardly for Walker. That's the dimension. Steve Gopi is the dimension Leicester have found in the second half.
I don't think this is ever a bad ball. I think he's got a right to demand somebody getting across here, and that's usually Tony Cottee's territory.
A couple of times an FA Trophy winner on Martin O'Neill at Wickham in the early 1990s. Les Ferdinand, who was last on this ground for his club with Southall in the FA Vase of 1986. Oh, that is the reception for Robbie Savage from the Tottenham fans and from Darren Anderson. These two meet, by the way. Their next Premiership fixture is against each other at White Hart Lane. Cottee's going in. Walker got there ahead of him after a clattering collision on the edge of the Tottenham penalty area, up from which Freund has recovered fairly quickly.
With a magnificent run by Muzzy, is it? Stephen Freund's followed him all the way. See Sol Campbell coming across, and he just got a bit of a clattering of Big Sol.
I think you know all about that. Starting to get the impression they mean this. Not that the final has been characterised by anything less than full-bloodedness from moment one.
He wasn't saying, can you see the thing there? He's saying, look, they've had one man sent off. We can win this game. Come on.
There's the man who rallies the troops as he did when England were down to 10 against France in the summer. And he, of course, scored the goal that wasn't. Sol Campbell.
When a team go down to 10 men, they obviously compete and they get stuck in and they work an extra bit harder. The concern is for the team with 11 men, psychologically they just say, right, we've got a chance now because the remand short and they stop doing the duties that they've been doing consistently throughout the game. That's how 10 men sometimes end up beating 11. Leicester can't afford to fall into that trap.
Cottee for Guppy. Heskey to hold it up. Campbell so tight to his back. And Heskey's got away from him and Vega's brought him down. And Terry Hilbron is back in employment. And he's going to his back pocket.
It's a foul, it's a booking. But goodness knows what was in Emil Heskey's orange juice at half-time, because he's a different man the second half. He looks far brighter, far lively and sharper. Seems to have his old strength back. He's a big threat. Ramon Vega's got his hands full.
Leicester visibly believed they could win this now. Lennon's ball in, Walker, good catch. Really good catch. With Jerry Taggart right at his back and Walsh nearby. A little Cotty sniffing around for any drop. Ginola. Olathorn with his work cut out. And Ginola has been penalised. It is such a hard decision for the referees to make when you're dealing with someone like Ginola, who himself is so strong.
He is very, very strong. I think Robert Olathorn's done very well and got his body in. I don't think it's a foul against Ginola. It's two people fighting for the ball. Let the play continue.
Talk to Kevin Keegan about David Ginola and he'll tell you how hard the Frenchman works on his upper body strength. There's a man, Tony Cotty, who works so hard on his strength as well as he has to, being a small man. Elliott's throw, Heskey's flick, up in the air by Campbell. Well, with 10 men you would suggest that Spurs' best chance is penalties, but with 10 men the last thing they'd want to do is go through extra time. That's the Tottenham dilemma, with a little over a quarter of an hour of the 90 minutes remaining. Walsh long towards Heskey. Broke back for Ferdinand. Carr. Nielsen. Anderton. Ginola. Carr. Ferdinand wide, 2 wide.
It was a difficult one for him to control. He said the ball in wasn't the best. It didn't need to be lifted in the air, just needed to be down to Les's feet so he can lay it off nicely to Alan Nielsen, who made another run forward. What tremendous energy he showed this afternoon. And he might have to show some more if it goes to extra time.
Jacket's back on, and Martin O'Neill is going to make a change involving Ian Marshall. This will be a special moment for Ian Marshall, who missed out on Oldham's 1990 League Cup final against Nottingham Forest after failing a test on a thigh strain just 30 minutes before kick-off. He replaces Emil Heskey, whose fitness was questionable right from the start. 33 years old yesterday, Ian Marshall. He could turn it into some birthday weekend.
Well, Emil Heskey, I think, has done a sterling job for Martin O'Neill. He's obviously very unfit. He hasn't trained. He's come on and given it his best shot. He's lasted nearly an hour, or just over an hour. He's done very well.
Walsh charged down by Everson. Elliott. Taggart. Is it? Now Carr with a burst of pace. Taggart going back with him, Walsh having to make sure, and he got the jackpot by winning a goal kick. There's the man who lifted the trophy at Hillsborough 2 years ago. If he lifts the trophy this year, it'll be the real thing at Wembley.
Tottenham have weathered the storm quite well, haven't they? You know, they lost the shape a little bit initially. Of course you do when you go man down, but they've got themselves organised now. They haven't lost many games under George Graham, and it's the organisation and the doggedness that's going to stand them in good stead now. Doesn't necessarily mean they can win the game though.
Elliott. Marshall. Ginola. Briefly free of Olathorn, who's quickly snapping at his heels again. Ginola's rangy ball aimed at Everson. Down for Ferdinand. Wouldn't come down for him though as quickly as he craved.
Half chance. Long searching ball by Ginola, and it's a nod down. Les Ferdinand actually in quite a bit of space. Sits the ball lovely for himself. Magnificent first touch, poor shot. In all fairness, there hasn't been many clear-cut chances this afternoon. There's been few and far between attempts at goal.
Everson. Ferdinand. Away from Elliott and running up Walsh. And feeling it was fault and earning the sympathy of Terry Hilbron. Steve Walsh stood his ground bullishly. And one can think of a couple of obvious candidates from this range for Tottenham Hotspur.
Steve Walsh used his head there, experience, because he knew Les Ferdinand, once he could see the green grass behind him, he had him for pace. He just stood up, made sure he obstructed him. This is interesting though.
Anderson and Freund over the free kick.
Not a natural left footer in the team apart from Ginola.
Ferdinand back post, Campbell and Vega there with it. Ginola in the wall. And then pulling away. Anderson to flight it in. Taggart with the clearing header. It all got a little over elaborate for Spurs.
Yes, wasn't a very testing ball, and with the size of Matt Elliott, Jerry Taggart, Steve Walsh in the box, it wasn't a searching pass at all.
Nielsen's throw. Elliott clear for Savage. He's booed as a reflex reaction now by Tottenham folk. Freund, Nielsen, Anderson square. Nielsen's had a go. It's reached the stage of the game where perhaps it's worth having a go from any range, the nearest side of goal.
He's been very willing to get forward, get beyond the forwards this afternoon, Alan Nielsen. This time he's backed the play up. He's going to have to be careful with his forward runs. He doesn't want to leave his midfield exposed or his back three, but as you say, it's well worth a pop.
Is it beaten to the ball by Campbell? Everson had pulled away wide. Ferdinand down the right side of the penalty area. Jerry Taggart's had a good, solid game at the back. He's not a pro made of headlines, but he hasn't made life easy for Les Ferdinand and co. Nielsen heaving it to the near post. Walsh rising to head clear. Anderson drifting it in. Elliott getting up above Vega. Campbell lifts it back towards Ramon Vega. Out as far as Everson! There were those who saw the net rippling and believed that Spurs had finally broken through. But when Elliott's headed clearance came to him, Stefan Everson just went the wrong side.
Well, all Ramon Vega's done, he's made it very difficult for the centre-half to head it clear, and it's dropped, and Stefan Everson's got a magnificent strike. George Graham thinks it's in. It's 2 inches, 3 inches the wrong side of the post.
We've seen that picture before this season.
They went on to win that game.
But they had 11 players.
All right.
Carr. Back down to earth. Ginola. Olathorn. Marshall's first little sniff. It's a game whose pace is going to be hard to acclimatise oneself to at short notice. Ferdinand hard in on Walsh. Spurs want to try and win this inside the 90 minutes clearly. Campbell. Ginola. Anderson. Nielsen. Ginola. Oh, nice little ball for Nielsen. Taggart's presence was important. Everson still received. Nielsen's kept going. Nielsen's flick header, goal kick. Sometimes it's the simple pass that works, and Ginola's little touch for Nielsen here was a nice one.
Alan Nielsen showed so much energy this afternoon, and if he just has a little backhand of Les Ferdinand's clear, I'm not sure if he's aware of Les Ferdinand standing in all that space.
Marshall, Cotton. Savage, hardly need to say his name. Anderson with a firm tackle, deemed a foul. Savage has gone down. Anderson, well, you can see what he thinks.
Well, Robbie Savage, he's put it about this afternoon. He's put the tackles in, he's worked hard, he's knocked a few people over, he's been knocked over himself, and he's accepted it. But there's a few of the Spurs players aren't happy with him, and I can understand why.
Goppy's left foot could be significant here. Neil Lennon is the other option. 3 in the Tottenham wall. Rather less than 7 minutes to play. It's Steve Goppy, and it's straight into the wall. And Freund can run it away from immediate danger, or would have preferred to, but for another bullish intervention by Jerry Taggart. Foul given.
I just feel that Steve Guppy's got to hit the target, he's got to miss the wall, he's got to make Ian Walker work. The chances this afternoon have been at such a premium. He's got a free-shotted goal, 20 yards out, and he's got to hit the target.
Good lead by Ferdinand. Olathorn clear for Savage. Marshall. Savage again. Oh, it's a super ball. If Goppy can keep it in, and he has. And he's got away from Everson, and he's running at Carr, and Goppy's delivered the cross, and Marshall has leapt. And Coddy was just ahead of the headed pass.
Well, Lee Marshall's never going to run past anybody or run beyond Sol Campbell, but I tell you what, he hit off strong in the air, and he showed it there.
Oh, now Freund and Savage have squared up, and Coddy's got involved, and Carr and Vega have got involved. This is getting just a little too nasty. Savage, remember, was booked in the Justin Edinburgh fracas, and if Terry Heilbronn goes to his pocket again, then Robbie Savage has got to fear the worst.
Well, Robbie Savage has been in the thick of it all afternoon.
Trevor Pollard is the assistant on the far side, and it's his advice that Terry Heilbronn is going to heed before deciding how he should act. And to Robbie Savage's immense relief, his actions are relatively passive.
Well, Robbie Savage was slightly late there.
And Tony Cotty did a good thing there. Tony Cotty is responsible for saving a player or two from real trouble, because he heaved Freund away as the fight was about to start.
He did. Robbie's got to calm down. It's a big day, it's a massive game, it's all about winning. You've got to keep your head.
Walker's free kick. Taggart Rhodes didn't get good contact. Olathorn got it clear. Marshall to try and hold it up again. Campbell right at his back. Savage. Cotty herring onto it. Walker out of his penalty area, and he slipped, and Cotty is onto it. And the only man in the 6-yard box was Stephen Carr.
Well, Ian Walker's so thankful that Ian Marshall gave that up. He didn't think Tony Cotty was going to make that, so he stopped. If he had continued his run, he's got a ball slotted into an empty net.
Nielsen's ball has fallen for Anderton, and Ginola has come outside of Darren Anderton, and Anderton's gone inside and struck one, and Casey Keller was right behind it. There is one mightily relieved goalkeeper who's simply lost his footing, quite inexplicably.
And the things that he's done this afternoon, he hasn't had to do an awful lot, but he's been impressive. You need a little bit of luck.
If you were Stephen Carr, your heart would have been in your mouth then as well.
Well, he controlled it with not his stronger foot, so thank goodness his touch was true.
Walsh. Marshall. Savage. Lennon. Out by Vega. Savage being savaged by the Tottenham fans. Carr. Son's out again on this most bizarre day for weather. Ginola. He's got away from Olathorn this time, but if you beat one, you won't beat the next. Elliott and Izzet had a communications breakdown. Likewise, Nielsen and Carr. It's a Leicester throw.
Well, it's scrappy. I think tensions are running high. Obviously, both players, both managers know the importance of this game. It's guaranteed European slot. Tempers are frayed a little bit. The composure's gone slightly. Try and calm down.
Used to call him the stroller, didn't they? His temperament belies that nickname now. Lennon. Savage. Well, he went down and Nielsen was close to him. Nielsen is furious at the way he went down. Clearly, in the opinion of the Dane, after what he perceived would have been an unjust penalty.
I tell you, that is a push in the back. It's a push in the back. And I think he's made a bit of a meal of it, Robbie Savage. I think Alan Nielsen is slightly lucky to get away with that.
Campbell heading back. Freud getting in ahead of Izzet. Anderson. Taggart. Ginola. Theo Zagorakis is preparing either for the last 20 seconds of 90 minutes or for the 30 minutes that will follow. Marshall's offside only by about 15 yards.
It's helped, it's actually helped Tottenham. Emil Heskey going off because there isn't a threat over the top now. They can afford to get tighter and they can go pretty much man for man on Marshall and Cotty because they're not the paciest.
Anderson. Nielsen wide. Ferdinand around about the penalty spot. Everson back post. Elliott closing down. Stoppage time. 3 minutes of it. Vega wandering forward. Nielsen with the long throw. Vega trying to win it. Campbell getting a touch. Taggart away. Carr to lift it back in. Marshall's downward header has fallen for Ginola, and Ginola's wriggling in. Olathorn's gone down, and it's Leicester's free kick. And here's the change. And don't be surprised that number 14 is being shown there. Perhaps for his own good, Robbie Savage is being withdrawn. This is a guy who got wound up for a major occasion and has made no friends in North London, but will have increased his fan club in the East Midlands for the thoroughness of his display. The Greek international captain Theo Zagorakis is coming on in place of him, and that's what Martin O'Neill thinks.
Well, he's done a great job for them this afternoon, Robbie Savage. He's worked his socks off, so much industry. He's upset a lot of people around the stadium, especially the Spurs fans and the Tottenham players. But he's done a great job for the team, and that's exactly what John Robinson's telling them now. But they need 11 players out there, and the likelihood was that the blood was going to boil over and he's going to get sent off.
Ferdinand. Everson. Good turn of speed. It's Stefan Everson. Good save by Callum Nielsen! On 92 minutes! Tottenham have snatched it as late can be.
Well, we knew there was only going to be one goal in it. It was always going to be tight, this game. And this is probably the first time Stefan Everson's opened his legs against Steve Walsh. And if our man deserves a goal this afternoon, it's Alan Nielsen. That must be the 20th time he's made that run into the box. So much energy to get up there. The half chance of ball might bubble to him, and he's there, the right place, the right time, and that's won the game.
The greatest day in North London has made one Scotsman very, very happy indeed. And it can now be only a matter of seconds before Alan Nielsen is officially designated a League Cup final winner. George Graham's going to make a change. He's going to let the clock tick down. Andy Sinton. Ten men, 92 minutes. Schindler's name hasn't gone up in lights today, but plenty of his colleagues and he himself won't be too concerned about that, and nor will they when the medals are handed out in a few moments' time.
Well, Peter, on an afternoon when we thought it was going to be David Ginola's cup final, it hasn't been that, it hasn't been Steve Guppy's either. We said it'd be a midfield battle, and it's a man from midfield who's popped up and won the game for Tottenham, Alan Nielsen.
Anywhere will do for Tottenham now. Ferdinand can take it to the corner flag and beyond. He's won Tottenham a corner, and that is absolutely ideal.
It's incredible, isn't it? George Graham thought he was going into extra time. Tactically, his mind's taking over. What have I got to do? What do I need to do? How can I change it? Do I need to change it? Now he's saying, can we hang on?
Nielsen, Anderson. They saved it at the last 2 years ago when Emile Heskey scored after 118 minutes. Martin O'Neill needs another miracle now. Ferdinand let it roll over. He may have done enough already. Get it forward. That is the simple and obvious message from Martin O'Neill. But it's Spurs Day. By George, they've done it. 8 trophyless Tottenham years are at an end because Alan Nielsen threw himself at a near post cross 2 minutes into stoppage time at Wembley Stadium. on, the referee will have reams and reams written about his decision, and Tony Cottee can only sink to the ground and weep. He believed that this would be his last chance. For Alan Nielsen, if there are no more chances, then there'll be this memory. And for Spurs fans, trophies had turned into memories. That is until now. David Ginola did so much to bring them to Wembley. Sol Campbell rolled up the collective sleeves and led them out at Wembley. Are you watching Arsenal? I wonder whether they are. And I wonder what they're thinking about the man who used to be their man, George. It's losers first on League Cup final day. And Steve Walsh, who got to lift the trophy in 1997 at Hillsborough, has to stomach the fact that Leicester City still haven't collected a major trophy at Wembley Stadium itself. Those are the grey faces of a team beaten right at the last. Or when Spurs last left Leicester feeling empty at the bottom of English sport's most famous staircase, it was to collect the FA Cup and complete a double for the great Bill Nicholson. 38 years on, maybe, just maybe, it's the first part of a cup double for George Graham. He has achieved that before, but Sol Campbell has never done this before. The cup's presented to him by the president of UEFA, Lennart Johansson. Fitting that because Spurs are heading to Europe as the 1999 winners of the Worthington Cup. Tottenham Hotspur's day, they're the Worthington Cup winners, having beaten Leicester at Wembley by 1-0.